since we should come to life here. Yes, it looks like we will come to life here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman. You saw the signal flare go up on Twitter, infidels. And we're back, 2-for-1 show here on Thursday. Post your Saturnalia apocalyptic showdown, infidels, and it's back here with a special episode of HAHAHAMIN. And it's 1, 2, 3 into the 4. Hacker Hameen and Big Save Dog at the door, ready to make an entrance. So back on up, because you know we're about to rip shit up, and we're gonna shoot bang bang on everything from our past to the present and future. Those we came up with, name dropping like you've never heard before, infidels. Shoots. YOLO.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
And that's a wrap. All right. Good job.
The Save Digger.
That's right.
The man.
I think it was it you that gave me the Save Digger nickname?
Yeah, man.
I think it was.
I believe so. Grave Digger. You know, I like all that testosterone kind of funny reference shit like that, and it was good. And Undertaker character, I thought that'd be a good name for you, man. It just stuck.
Yeah, it did stick.
But dude, for those who don't know, and now you know, this is a guy I looked up to and came up with in Chicago improv, known far and wide throughout all the communities. You know, we talk in wrestling about, oh, that guy's a good hand. He can get in there and go with anybody and give you a good match. And a lot of times those are the guys I got a lot of respect for, and a lot of guys in the locker room got a lot of respect for, because they do business so other people can shine. And a lot of people have worked with Bill who've gone on to shine very, very brightly. And it's important for me to give a voice to, you know, the people, not that he's forgotten or left behind by any means, because he's constantly in my life and I'm very thankful for it. And but this guy's as strong as any of them, as strong as they come. I mean, anybody you see on HBO, anybody you see in the comedy clubs, and you know, hopefully this is a pebble in the pond for some more creative endeavors for him, because this is Bill Saveley. I got a lot of respect for. Bill, welcome, buddy.
Thank you so much. You're too kind. You're too kind, and I felt the same way about you. I saw you come in, and I thought, you know, this guy's smart. And I thought the difference between like the people who were performing that were smart, they were the ones that really had the most potential. And like you said, you could put them into any position and they're going to find that niche and run with it. And even if it seemed like they're going solo, they're carrying and taking everybody along with them for the ride. And then by the time the show is over, those were the people that I always thought, wow, you know, if that one person wasn't in that show, maybe this wouldn't have been as good, because of what this person did to not only move the show forward, but to take everyone along with them and raise, you know, a high tide raises all the boats. So I always thought the same about you.
That means so much to me, man, because, you know, I've always been a guy who just wants to say, all right, if I've got a show and prove, I'm going to get in there with the best there is and shut the fuck up until they tell me to speak a little bit, and I can, and not come in swinging, hey, do it my way, because I got a lot to learn here. And that's kind of what I did at Improv Olympic. People say, well, how'd you get that access to them so fast? Well, I took pretty much the model of the dirt sheets in wrestling, in which I was a part of in college as a mark and a big ECW fan. And I saw this community that was a micro community there, but then there's all these hardcore comedy people in the mecca of comedy, Chicago, and there's really nothing feeding them. So I just took and became the sheet writer of that. And I went to Charna after, like, I think I waited tables there for like, or did door for like 2 weeks. I was like, fuck this. I'm too big to be clanging through here, bro. You know, telling people what's up. And I go, I got more to offer. And, you know, like it's kind of in my DNA, my dad and his work ethic, which you know a fair amount about what you've been told about my family life at home. But, you know, you're going to go above and beyond and outwork everybody. You're just going to shut up and do the work.
Yeah.
And then you get into bed at night, that's when you take your boots off and you do it. So that grind is just in me. And I went to her, and she didn't really understand this, you know, 60-some-year-old woman at the time. You know, maybe probably right about 60. And about what the dirt sheets were, but I was like, I can shine your product. It's like an online magazine, and I would love to get their voices out, and I think there's a big void for this. So I kind of got the green light to get free classes, man, off of that. But nice. This is long before the podcast and the video world had taken that. We're talking 2000, before September 11th here, right? And like right the year before. And I would go and record conversations. I still got some of the tapes on a mini tape reel and then go back. I'm talking 2.5 hour conversations and type them out brutally. Rewind, type, 7-8 hours of dictation from a 2.5 hour interview and serve it up in a big front page, whether it was TJ or, Dave or, I'm trying to think back now. It's been so long. And even Stephanie Weir, and getting all these access to Mad TV people when I was green as grass. But I just wanted to shine them. I've always kind of been decent at that, and I knew that was my niche, and that's kind of where I gained access to you guys, the mid-card, hey, look at this guy coming up here for a minute, and moving people out from Fredonia and Random Acts who almost all became bigger stars than me, from Nice Peter to Marissa Panessa and Panessa Talent, who really started it all. Heather Kinney went on to work at Playboy, who I'm looking forward to having her and her husband on the show here. But I've ranted long enough, man. I'll let you put over that time.
So something you said in the very beginning, let's not forget the importance of the people that worked at the door.
Oh,
because Katie Rich worked in the box office forever.
100.
And look at where she went. And then Jack McBrayer, when I was taking classes and running at Second City, Jack McBrayer was the guy sitting in the box office.
Yep.
Super nice to everybody, super accommodating, everything. And then obviously you saw the guy perform. He was lights out, legendary on the stage. And then watching him as his character on, what was it, 30 Rock, Kenneth?
Yeah.
The dude in the coat. Yeah. I thought, that's Jack.
That's it.
Like not the bubbling buffoony Jack, but like that Southern nice guy charm.
Sure.
And I just thought, boy, that's it. They could run forever with that.
There's so much that he can come back and do, whether it's been in Drunk History, playing those period piece Southerners, all that stuff. And I loved it when he did with Triumph at the hot dog gimmick in Chicago.
Yes.
Like the insults, like that is probably the most legendary Triumph piece I think that there was, dude.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of, Smigel's a genius.
Yeah.
The dude is, legendary. And I think a combination of that with the fact that that's who Jack McBrayer is.
100.
He wasn't playing a character of somebody like, oh no, oh, let me help you. Like, that's really who he was. So I think the combination of how nice and genuine that Jack really is versus the biting acidity of Triumph.
That's the game. That
total
is the
combination.
Game. That's the game 100%. And we just talked about opposites attract on the Friday locker room with some other wrestling gimmicks, and that's what it is. Because it could be the apocalypse rolling down around you, and if McBrair's next to you, he'll be checking on you. Like, would you like some tea? Are you all right? Do you need a fan?
Right. Yes.
But with a smile on his face. And that's just a beautiful one. And he's one who gets kind of lost in my mind because there were so many heavy hitters, and he is a scene-stealing support player. Not that he comes in to steal a scene, but as soon as he lights that magic up, dude, it's like an aura on stage. And Pete was that way too. And you were too. You have that funny playfulness naturally about you that is a support in a scene, an absurd character that can find the game or do something that's quirky where the eye just goes to them.
Thank you.
I always love that. And that's why I think in so many scenes and that I watched you in so many shows, that you could mix in with anybody because it wasn't like, I don't know, when my size is very dominant on stage, so you're going to feel that instantly.
Right.
When I watch Rush Howell, it's almost like watching Mr. Howell from the,
right.
it's like a whole upper crust, but your thing could be crazy farmer. It could be a dinosaur talking. It could be, you know, a little kid and all super believable in that is tough to do when you're this size sometimes, man.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. What did you like to play the most?
I think realistically, I really enjoyed playing support. That was a time in my life when I really didn't have a lot of confidence, because what had happened was, you know, growing up as a kid, my mom was always telling me like, oh my God, you're the best thing ever. Relatives, you're the best. You're this, you're hilarious. You should do this. You should do that. And then I actually got into Second City late. And I remember I auditioned for the Second City and I didn't get in. I had to take a class called Improv for Actors. So right there, I thought, oh, wait a minute. So I took that class and then I got in, went through all the classes, and then I was right back up. I was in class with, oh my God, so many people that went on to amazing other things. We had a show, our 5B showcase, and Second City actually approached us and said, hey, look, we want you to continue this in the Skybox as like a show where people would come pay. Well, we didn't have everybody on board. We didn't want to just have like half of the class perform it under the same name. So we declined. And I remember they looked at us like, you don't understand. There's been like maybe 6 teams that we've asked to like go forward. And it's like, well, it's not fair to the other people. So then, you know, that was like super high to me. And I remember my instructor said, you know, you should try out for the touring company. Like, you do really good with that. And I thought, all right, well, let's do that. So I thought I had a really good audition, and then I never heard anything. And then when I approached her, I was like, you know, well, like, what happened? And she's like, I don't know. I didn't hear anything. And I thought, oh, well, okay. And then I had a couple of agents. I had a couple of, you know, industrial commercials that nobody sees unless you're a part of a company and you have to watch a training video.
Right.
I did a commercial for Kentucky Fried Chicken, A Bucket of Love. I did a couple of other spots. And then you turn around twice, it's like 10 years have gone by and you haven't really done anything.
Right.
And I had to get out of the restaurant business, and it's just like, I just had to make a bunch of decisions. But then also I went from Second City. I thought, okay, well, Improv Olympics next. It seemed to be a more free, more open. I liked the longer performances of it. And I remember I had just, I think, finished level 3. And then I remember Griggs used to do the schedule all the time. Yeah. And I saw my name on the schedule. And I thought, what? I made a team? Like, am I on a team now? Like, who do I talk to? When do we practice? What's going on? So I was on a team for a really long time called Johnny Roast Beef. And there were a bunch of tremendously talented awesome people on that team. Actually, the woman that does the Toyota commercials, I won't say her name, the one that does the Toyota, she was on my team for years. So, I mean, talented people back and forth. And then I remember Sharna said, I think I need to put you on a different team. I, you know, kind of went back and forth with her. I'm like, no, I don't want to leave these guys. You know, we had just fought the Herald Commission on why we should still be a team, you know.
For those who don't know, for those who don't know, so here's how it works. Very similar to almost any wrestling school as well. You have steps that you go through, and essentially you're paying for 3 years for classes, 2 years really for classes, and then you get to work for free while you're doing it. And you love it. It's labor of love, and it's beautiful, and all the work is pure, and everybody's in on it. And then you get put on teams after you paid all your dues, and they say, okay, now you get a chance to sink or swim. And then you'll get maybe an 8-week run to maybe even longer, maybe close to 6 months. And then a team kind of runs its course, and the top players are going to filter out, and they're going to repackage them in an upper echelon team, because the next level from the school has got to move out, and they got to clean people out. Now those people have been through their college. What are they going to do with it? But there's a Herald Commission, dun, 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 made up of the top names in improv, politics, and community, who decide the fate of those who go on to get the ETC audition, the main stage audition, the Tour Co. Blue Red Co. audition, and who gets to stay at Improv Olympic and work for free.
Yeah.
And
I remember we had to sit, it was like in a classroom at Shield Park. And, you know, we had to sit down on the linoleum floor.
Did you have to pay for? Did you have to pay for the spot while you sat there?
No. At this point, you know, we had been a team for like 6 years,
Right.
and we were playing weekends and consistently doing good shows. And you know, these like four you know, people that come in that, you know, have just recently been handed Excalibur are telling us like, well, you know, we just kind of think, you know, maybe, and I remember just looking at them and going, put a team together that's as good as the team that we have, and then, you know, vie for our spots. But I just thought, like, okay, well, here's kind of where the writing is on the wall. And then Sharna came to me and she said, I'm putting together a team, and I want you on this team. And I fought her for a while. Sharna and I were pretty close. I was the only person in her class in my introductory level that her dog Chief, I was the only person he didn't bite. So she was like, okay, like you must be fine. Chief hasn't bitten you. So over the years, I became like better friends with her, and she wanted to put me on this team. And then finally she scheduled Johnny Roast Beef and Bullet Lounge to play the same night. And it was like a late change. And I was one of those people where I was always early, always the last one out. So of course I was there, and like none of my other teammates were there. And then Sharna said to me, well, you're already out here. She knew I was coming from a distance.
Right.
She said, so I want you to play with Bullet Lounge. And I played with these guys, and it was like getting behind the wheel of a Ferrari on a wide open track.
Right.
And just going, do whatever you want. This car is yours. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is how it could be. I mean, we were having good shows as Johnny Roast Beef, but then like playing with these guys, it just seemed. And then I remember I walked past her at the bar and she's like, you're going to be on this team now. So then I was on Bullet Lounge for pretty much their entire run. And I mean, you're talking good Tim Baltz, Steve Waltine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys and Tim Baltz on Gemstones right now, absolutely killing it. Yeah, on a bunch of things. And
Blaine Swens,
yeah.
Seth Whiteberg, Brandon Sornberger.
All these guys are
Joey
involved.
Bland.
Yep, they're involved with stuff out west with Epic Rap Battles and all the production there. They're involved with Drunk History.
T.J. Miller, Thomas Middleditch.
Yeah, that's Silicon Valley, obviously.
Yes.
So, like, and I was there for that show. I was there for the crossover. I mean, I didn't miss anything at all. You know, as much dedication to wrestling as that's what it was to be in the real trenches of improv, you know, and who's making a move. Holy shit, he's sitting in there with them. Granted, it's our own micro community, but that shit was important because that is like Chris Cornell going from Soundgarden to Audio Slave. You know what I mean? I put it in your terms, right? Because that's one thing I want to transition to. We'll go away from improv. I'm sure we'll come back. But you are a music, I don't even want to, kind of musicologist, really, I would say.
Yes.
You know, at that level of beyond DJ work and just knowing history of music alone. Talk to me about your love of that, man, because you were big into, before improv, I loved seeing those pictures from the throwback days where it was probably what actually, you know, I loathed, but I was young and dumb at the time in a far smaller area where you are a legit Chicago, you know, brat all the way through. Talk to me about those times and what it was like for you then, man. I'd love to hear about it.
It was insane. Well, I always had a love of music, and it was because every time I came home from school, either my mom was listening to Fleetwood Mac or Simon and Garfunkel or America or Bread, Barbra Streisand, musicals. And then when my dad came home, he commandeered the stereo, and we listened to like the Beatles, Bowie, Elton John, Neil Young, a whole bunch of stuff. So I grew up in that music, and for some, I just, you know, like some things you can't explain it. It's just a part of who you are. So for me, it was, I could hear the different tones in the music. I could pick up on lyrics when people were like, wait, what is he saying? I understood the timing before I knew there was a timing. I understood like different keys. I understood the difference between like a cold ending or a fade or what a break was. I was counting measures before somebody taught me as a DJ, like, well, yeah, you count measures. And I'm like, okay, so now I have the names to what I've been doing all the time anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a young man, heavily involved in like the whole punk rock scene in the city, running with a bunch of people, listening to music. And then I had a buddy of mine that had turned me on to this. He was much older. He was a DJ. And what he was doing is he was DJing these private parties for Narcotics Anonymous. And he was just playing a bunch of like new wave, punk rock, alternative stuff. And this was like 86-ish.
Right.
And I was going with him to like help load his stuff, but then I was watching, like that was an opportunity for me to learn. And watching him how he beat mixed and this and asking him questions. And then finally there came a point where he's like, I can't do this anymore. You know, but these people they're gonna need a DJ. So you do it. You know, you can use my equipment. By then I had a bunch of my own records anyway. Mm-hmm. So I remember, you know, and if you've never been to a Narcotics Anonymous dance, these people pound coffee and they got to just get it out. So from the minute that needle hit the record till the minute the party was over, those people never left the dance floor. They never stopped moving unless it was to go to the bathroom or go get more coffee. Mm-hmm. And then when it was over, it was like, you got one more? Like, you got one more in you? They just needed something to get it out.
Right.
So I remember the guy that was running that particular dance, he said to me, he's like, hey, I'm going to open a nightclub. I'm looking for a DJ. I wasn't even 21 at the time.
Nice.
And he's like, can you, I was like, yeah, I can do this. It's like, say yes, figure it out later.
Right.
So sure enough, I was still at Loyola University. I got hired at the Avalon nightclub. Well, by then I had already taught myself how to, rudimentary DJ. And then by the time I got in there, just from practice and working, I was still waiting tables at Ed DeBevick's at night. So during the day I was free. So I would go to the club while they were doing all the business stuff. The DJ booth and the dance floor was way away from the offices. And I would bring my cassette deck and blank tapes and I would just practice. So I'd be in there for like 3 to 5 hours every day I could get in there just practicing. And then eventually I think I got really good. Like there's a few things in this world that I'll admit I do really well. That's one of them. I will put my work up against anybody's from that era. I know I did exactly what I needed to do and I got a lot of recognition. I worked at all of the clubs. I worked at the Avalon. I worked at Neo. I worked at Metro. I worked a night at Smart Bar. I worked at the original Exit. I worked at Crowbar. I worked at the Shelter. I worked at a bunch of places. And then I got a Billboard DJ, a Billboard reporter gig. One of the guys that I worked with was a Billboard reporter. He referred me to Billboard magazine, did an interview over the phone. Next thing I know, they're like, okay, you can do this now. We're going to send you records every week. Wednesday's your call day. So all the record labels would call me on Wednesday and I would tell them what I was charting, what I wasn't charting, what was coming on in my chart, what was going off. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. And like, this was like just the coolest time because I was also friends with some of the local bands from, running around and working the clubs. Mm-hmm. So I got a chance to, watch bands like the Smashing Pumpkins.
I was going to say you had to be right in their prime at that time. Yeah.
I watched Billy go from a dude just playing guitar in his bedroom, dreaming about being a rock star. So then he gets a job at one of the record stores that I would frequent as a DJ. And we would just, chit chat. And then next thing you know, it's like they're playing with a drum machine and then they get a drummer. And then it's the dude, again, back to what we were talking about before, a callback. He believed in himself nonstop and he had the talent, but nobody could tell him no. Change the name. It's a stupid band name. Yeah, well, it's our band name. Yeah, well, you guys should probably get a different singer. You guys would be more commercial if you have a different singer. No, I'm the singer. The dude never yielded. And I mean, the rest is history. Whether you like them as a band or not, they were globally successful.
And now he's doing what he wants to do in wrestling too, man. I'm not sure about his model, you know, because I got a lot of hope for that, because I like what they're doing is relaunching NWA, a nostalgic brand from the 80s. Right. That kind of got pimped out where they franchised it out, and they brought back the same studio, Atlanta feel that had Dusty Rhodes and everybody in it. But they got to walk a fine line between satire and that new reinvention, like the Karate Kid is what they're trying to do, like you know. And I think they're getting it most of the time. It's a hard line to toe, but that's his baby, and he's all in on it. Now, I don't know what their end game is, because they're just on YouTube and it's not a paid show. Yeah. And they're doing about maybe 200,000 views now. They started at about 500,000, and that's not enough ad revenue to have all name guys on there. So I hope that, you know, with his industry contacts, that he can make one phone call and be like, we're on Netflix or Amazon Prime next year. So that keeps going, because I'm interested to see what that's going to be. Or is it just like, all right, I'm rich, I love wrestling, I allocate $2 million. When that $2 million is gone, then we'll do what we want to kind of do.
I can tell you personally, from knowing him growing up, he reminds me a lot of where you are and how you did it with wrestling, what your approach to improv was. Billy's really smart, and he saw the play early on after they get famous. Now, obviously, when people are throwing a bunch of money at you and you're inexperienced, you're going to make decisions that may work out, that may not work out. Are they mistakes, or are they just, hey, you took a chance and it didn't pan out? But he's very smart. He's very driven. He was a workaholic back in the day. Every time I went into the record store, he was on that phone with that long ass cord going, yeah, did you get my demo tape? Yeah, well, you know, do you think we can get a slot? You know, well, this is what our schedule. He managed the band, promoted the band. He engineered all of their stuff. He was just relentless, is a word I like to put out there. And I thought to myself, it's just a matter of time. Like, same thing watching Middleditch on stage every night that we performed. I thought, it's just a matter of time before the right person who has the power to say, yeah, put this guy here. It was just a matter of time before somebody saw him, whether it was in our show or somewhere else. And then, you know how it happens. You see that person, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, what happened to, you know, Bobby Joe? Oh, he's on HBO now. Or, oh, he's, you know, doing this now. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and it's not that Middleditch or TJ Miller or any of those guys who went up there don't love it and pay it back and know the same thing. And Tim Baltz of where we all came from, the stages we came from, you know, it's absolutely that. It's all the common ground, because in what we do with team play, you can't do it by yourself. It's impossible. There is no way to make that magic. So it's great when they get a vehicle. Abby McEnany, right? With her new her new show. That's gonna drive me nuts. I just lost that.
But yeah, I see all of our
work in progress. So in this so Abby, you know, a definite another like me type that you're gonna be typecast as or what have you. I would have been, if I stuck with the acting, I feel like I've been on every cop show, and then maybe terrorist if I would have grown the beard. But that with her new show, Work in Progress, tackling the issues of LGBTQ stuff, just dating. It's kind of like a Sex in the City 2019 for the alt queer community, and it's Chicago point of view, and the perfect time in history for her type to be shined the right way. And so it was with Thomas Middleditch in Silicon Valley in this post, you know, tech time where it's just normalized now. And we see the apps of everything and what is behind that. Like these guys who are wearing Mr. Rogers sweaters for 10 years before it's on camera, you know, it just needs to find the right vehicle is all for each of them. And I think, you know, I'm going to hold your feet to the fucking fire, man.
Do it.
Your vehicle is a throwback 80s show about DJing and music. and all right there. No one could write it better than you. No one has lived it better than you, and no one could tell a tale. But what is the inside simple stories with swerves and jokes that would be improv wise that you can't put together a fucking one full season to go and sell it, Bill? Because this is a part of the whole thing that I wanted to get into here as we shoot bang bang and not reminisce as much anymore. It pisses me off that people have to go to LA and then get over. I'm super pumped that they get over and get a big shine and a big paycheck because that's where the money is. But a lot of people leave Chicago who were top players to go out there to chase that because they see what their teammates are doing and see how over they are. And now I can't speak to any of them who've gotten over to that level, that they aren't reaching out and helping their brothers from their sisters from their team because I'm disconnected. I don't want to say they're leaving people behind and they're just superstar because that happens in wrestling all the time too. But, you know, there are people who are getting shots because of that, but they don't have community out there that I see. Their community is dead. And it's because they're so far apart from each other, I've been told, and they got to drive, and the Improv Olympic LA is no more. And some people who I think have every right to be recognized and be over chased a dream out there, and now they're wasting some of the best and most precious creative time of their life hoping to get that shot. When in my view, the hustle view, you got way stronger numbers by taking that micro community that's there and flushing them out and having them as your base and making LA scared shitless of you, and everybody stays in Chicago, and now LA invests in Chicago, and you're just developing and producing shows there, not just 24s or anything like that once in a while here. Like, I'm talking dozens of fucking shows, from Adult Swim stuff to morning. Why Second City doesn't have a full morning radio podcast, full 24/7 if they want to podcast of shit going on with guests coming in. I would way rather listen to sports and news from my improv brothers and sisters with an intelligent twist on it. And you know what it is? It's fucking no hustle and laziness. And I'm not saying everybody, but because there's a lot of people out there right now, especially my young brothers from Random Acts who went out there, who are with your originator, Law Torella, who's at Second City in Two Man Hammer, and they're trying to do their Epic Rap Battles of History type thing and get that launched and producing it themselves. But it kills me that here they are, or Molly Erdman, who's doing amazing work with her stuff with Elizabeth Warren, you know, impersonation. Dude, it should be mandatory. Everybody in Second City, Improv Olympic, from Groundlings, they should all have to follow everybody there and retweet. What does it take to hit retweet? The fact that they're not is showing ego and jealousy, in my opinion, and that we're not all behind each other to fucking do it. And even as Ben Hameen, I'm willing to blow my fucking heat to make sure my brothers and sisters who fucking gave me a lot of lessons get even a little bit of shine from my audience, because they should be getting a shine, because we all come up together, a rising tide, man. Go ahead, shoot.
You bring up so many good points, but you also have to have the 40,000 feet view. What your view is your view is on the ground, and your view is through your filters, through your experience, through your interpretation of the way things should be.
Right.
I'm not insulting anybody out there, but there's a lot of people that I worked in the restaurants with who couldn't fucking coordinate a sock drawer, and they go out to LA and they wonder why they're not making it. Well, it's like, well, the same reason why you were late to work all the time and didn't have the right uniform on, and you couldn't fucking memorize the daily special. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, you're absolutely right. The people that are hustling, and the people that are working it, and the people that are really the people that are going to bed at the end of the night going, I did absolutely everything I could to further myself in my career of choice today. I didn't waste any hours. But there's a lot of people that want to binge watch on Netflix and eat fucking hot Cheetos on their couch all day, and then go, I didn't hear from my agent today. I also think that it's a combination too. Now, if we were talking about timing earlier, Smashing Pumpkins hit at a good time. This is a terrible time because everybody has one of these cell phones. This thing, I still DJ once a month in the nightclubs. It's almost impossible to get people out of their houses because of this. You can watch a movie on this. You can have conversations with people on this. Shoot your own video on this. Cable TV, computers, internet, streaming. There's so many different things vying for your attention now. I think it's harder for people that don't have that drive to succeed. That's what I think a lot of it is too.
But I gotta come back at you on that, on the one too, because that is the tool that they should know that is their main way to audience build, whether it's Instagram. So let's say that somebody went and said, hey, I want to do this. I want to be the program manager at Second City to run 6 days a week, that we're going to have shit live, and then we're going to have some pre-recorded stuff, and it's just going to run that way because we got Twitch. Dude, they had that talk about Chicago improv and theater history at I.O. with like Tracy Letts. I think Joel Murray was there, nice. Dave, like, you know, Sharna. That was just for a room of how many people could you fit in the Mission Theater? Yeah. Why is that shit not streaming on Twitch, even if for free, where people would throw bits at you to be like, thank you for showing us this, or sell it for $1.99. I would have bought it.
I know.
I would have bought it.
I know. I think it's a combination of maybe there was no one there at that particular time with, let's say, your skill set who could set that up.
I can't believe
Number
that.
two,
I can't believe that, man.
That's a decision that the higher ups would have to make. Would you have to get permission from all of the speakers or the performers, so to speak? Would they have to sign a waiver? Hey, we're recording this show for distribution. You know, I don't know. Maybe they have restrictions in their contracts with their specific agencies that kind of puts the kibosh.
Here's what I say: stop being. I get you, but I in wrestling, ask for forgiveness, not permission. And and we're artists at the rawest form, so stop being a cunt if you're going to be about it. And if that's how you got to be, hey, we wanted you on the show, but sorry, I can't do that for you.
And it does happen because I think last time I was in Miami, I heard a story. We were staying at a place. And the very penthouse of this, I mean, massive thing right on Miami Beach was owned by the guy who was, I think, the owner or CEO of like Telemundo. And somebody told me this story where as a 19-year-old kid, he kept writing Telemundo, telling them like, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. Like, I want to have a meeting with whoever your creative or your programming people are. You're missing the boat. You're missing this, you know, age group. You're missing this. 3 years he wrote letters, and then finally somebody gave him like, check out this fucking guy again, just bring him in. And he came in and he blew their doors off. They hired him, and like the station got totally popular. And I don't know if that's the exact truth. That's what I was told.
That sounds very familiar. But again,
like it's out there. I just think you have to have somebody like you that's going to say, I'm not going to take no for an answer. You're going to have to remove me from this building. I'm actually here to help you. Yeah. And I think a lot of times you get people's egos involved, where even if there are people with good intentions that want to help, you know how it is, man. It's like, hey, don't rock the boat. This is my show.
I guess, but at the same time, you ain't running it that right way. And now at this point in my career, 30 years in, I seen a lot of shitty promoters, and I worked with a lot of promoters. I give a lot of promoter lessons more than I perform. Whether it's booking territories or booking business, and this is what's going to draw, and here's how you do this. Again, guys get the aha moment. I'm hoping that these aren't too angry and that somebody does get an aha moment, because I know law is there. I know law can handle it, but it's a lot to manage. I'm going to have Susan and Rachel on, you know, and I love them both with all my heart. I've always had a huge crush on both of them, and they play along with the wife's thing, you know, number 3 and number 33. And, you know, then I'll just say something about Trump and I'll let them unload on me and get their shit in. So, you know, like I'm looking forward to all that, but I'm hoping these pebbles in the ponds with, you know, my usual Pop's abrasiveness with all in love, that it does spark this. Now, if they want to get real with it and pay me the 40 to 60 grand to come back and run it, I'm willing to talk that way. But like, here's the thing. It's not about just running that. They're missing out. Everyone kowtows and bows to SNL, which obviously it's the crown jewel of what we want to do. And then you go from there to get your movies and you're over as fuck. But now the model's changed to kind of get your HBO show, then get your movies and you're over as fuck.
Right. Or you go on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you become a YouTube sensation and somebody puts you on a show. And again, timing. Oh, I saw this. Wait, this person had like 1.6 million followers on YouTube. I didn't know that. But they saw him on something else and they're like, give this guy a shot. And then it's like, you know. Yep.
Because those are qualified buyers and followers who subscribe specifically to you, for you. Now, why aren't we building our performers? Now, if we have the Cheeto eating performer who's lazy, but we see money on him, and I know plenty of wrestlers like that.
Yeah,
that's fine. What we need to be doing is creating more Lorne Michaels. And that's what we're not doing. We're not creating super producers who can direct and pick new people. And then you send them off, say, yep, you take Johnny Roast Beef and Bullet Lounge and you fucking cocksuckers better come back with 3 show ideas by next month because we want to greenlight something because you're all talented. Now find the vehicle. You're like, that, all that needs to be, that will come later if you set up the small stuff of like, all right, we have them shining. We can bring in Joel Murray just to do the morning news and traffic because he's in the neighborhood or whoever, or, you know, like that kind of stuff, man, must happen because they're so far behind on it already. They should be leading the way 4 years ago with that stuff, man. Yeah. And it breaks my heart because there's so many people there who are in the community who are 2-decade vets who aren't getting that shot. Or I even see things like the Improv Guru Twitter. Do you seen that or follow? I know you're not on Twitter.
I don't know. I mean, if we can be real here, because I know that's what you want and I know that's what you like. There's a lot of the improv stuff that I see on Twitter that I just don't think it's funny.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is, now obviously there's probably going to be people that think it's funny, but I also wonder if there's kind of an air of a little bit of, I'm going to show you a lot of love because then hopefully you'll remember me and drag me into something. You know what I mean?
Is there some of that?
Like, I that's the feel I get.
I must be
like a lot of
it.
time I read, I'm like, oh, you know, and then I get these like, you know, hey, let me, not so much there, but I know like on Facebook, people were creating like fake names and they wanted to do this like comedy bit. It's like, you know, I don't have time for it. I don't think it's funny. I'm busy doing my own thing. But yeah, there could be more support on Twitter. There's a lot of like funny people out there. But again, are people going, and I'm sure they are, there's people that are just going to Twitter for sports. There's people that are just going to Twitter for comedy. There are people that are going to Twitter to look for politics, left, right, center, independent, truth, whatever. So I guess there's a niche for that.
Aren't we supposed to be the vessel for all of that as improvisers though? Like that's
do we want to be? Do those people want to be?
I think so. They do because it's here's what improv did since I left and since Trump took over, and they just punched down. They jumped off the high ground where they're smarter than everybody else and they should punch both sides walking down the middle. Instead, they said, let me jump over here and be reactionary in hopes that it'll get me over with this crowd, instead of fucking really just being like, watch how much smarter I am than all these motherfuckers. Yeah. And being able to get a laugh and a F you on both sides. I mean, I understand. Like somebody tried to bury Klepper the other day to me from Conspiracy Horseman, Alex Jones side, right? And they know me from the Conspiracy Horseman. They don't know me from being on Late Night Late Show and World News Tonight and shit.
Right,
you know, doing spots.
The dude is hella talented,
super talented, and should have got. And let's bang. Fuck it. Trevor Noah ain't shit in my opinion, and he got the spot because of affirmative action reasons.
Well, and you know too, there has to be some type of pay to play for the people that really achieve that upper echelon status.
Yeah, we could all go do our own Bohemian Grove initiations for pay to play, I guess. I'm
just saying, you know, what can you do? What are you willing to do to get this part? And you know, it's
even on his knees, that's the problem. Klepper's still 6'2" on his knees. He can't get.
But he's so talented, and I think a lot of those people, especially if you're coming through Chicago, you're coming through the Improv Olympic, you have to be quick thinking on your feet, or you're going to get buried by somebody smarter on stage, and you're going to get lost. So the people that are smart, that their brains are constantly doing multiple calculations, so to speak, those people I think are going to be harder to necessarily want to go that route. They're going to go, this doesn't sound like a good idea. I'm going to continue to do my thing. And then maybe there's a level that says, all right, cool. We're going to let you do your level, but that level is going to be this. And as long as you're happy, fine. I just wonder if there's another, like, hey, we're thinking about putting you in this blockbuster with Hanks and Pitt, but what are you willing to do for this part?
Right. I think you had a monster of a show with Jon Stewart, and who's going to be able to handle those reins? Klepper was the guy.
Yeah.
But we were in too much of a SJW, gotta go for it time. And not that Trevor Noah isn't funny and can't deliver, but nowhere near, dude, if you cast him over the other. And then just like wrestling, no, we're not going to go back on our decision. We made the wrong one. Then Klepper he steals the show because his spots are going to be awesome. Whether it was the Wu-Tang shit or him on the campaign trail, they give him his other show that's a mockery of Alex Jones, I think, kind of as we know we fucked up and you can do this. And that's who's paying his check. They want the reactionary stuff. And I'm not saying whether he does or doesn't believe it, but here, again, in my mind, here's a top property that you're not getting max value out of because of not really punching both sides the way they should. So this kid came at me and I was like, dude, I came up with him, so there's that. But I go, this guy's the bravest guy in comedy right now. Who else is walking into a Trump rally to try and get scathing footage of them being able to bury themselves while taking shots and boos from the crowd? Have you fucking done that shit?
Right.
Because I sure as fuck have. I walk out with the ISIS fucking flag and vets are flipping me off, ready to rush the ring. So I know exactly where the fuck he's at, and it's easy for somebody to sit home and retweet some Alex Jones shit and Barry Klepper as he's got to clock his check from Viacom, which obviously has the Comedy Central agenda of all Hollywood behind it. So I totally fucking get it. But you're going to get some truth from Hacker Hameen when it comes to don't fucking sweat Jordan Klepper, son, because he's also done a lot of things for Michael Lehrer, who we had on the show, who's blowing up right now, which I totally take credit for completely. And and you know, so it would be easy for me to go, fuck that other side, son. Nah, I got ultimate respect for that guy, and that's not trying to blow sunshine to get no job, because they won't even hit me back. I've reached out to him and Baltz, and I get it why they might not hit me back. Too hot for TV, you know, like that's not something I take personally.
No.
But you know,
it's a business.
Yeah, dude. Why I'm not trying to fuck up their brand. If they got to stay in a lane right now, when the time comes, maybe we will, maybe we won't. I'm not like, fuck that guy. You know. So
I also think to a certain extent, once you get to, like, let's say that level, like a Baltz, where now things are starting to happen, and then all of a sudden you're introduced to somebody who is your manager, and then you're introduced to somebody who is your agent. Now, instead of just having one person that you walked into, like, let's say at Linda Jack Talent, that's going, they're looking for somebody that looks like you. It's a clown that pulls something out of a vacuum cleaner. You know, now it's like, okay, this is the niche that we're trying to put you in. Mm-hmm. So here's your manager, here's your business guy, and here's your, not like a handler, but like a producer or whatever. And I imagine now they're like, okay, here's your schedule, here's your this. So I think a lot of times they're totally removed from that. Yeah. Like I did when Planet Hollywood opened in Chicago, I was still working at Ed DeBevick's, but I got a job over there to supplement my income. And I was one of the people that they picked to work the opening night. So I worked the room with Schwarzenegger. Stallone was there. Roseanne and Tom Arnold, Roseanne's kids, they were all in there. And it's like, none of them had cash. So everyone was complaining that like none of the celebrities were tipping. And I was like, these people don't carry cash. Like everything gets done for them.
Right.
So I'm wondering if at some point when you get into the entertainment business, you have so many people that whose job, let's say, is to make things easier for you because they want you focused on your craft and they want you to be well rested, looking good in front of the camera, and be able to do the job that you're paying for. So they take care of everything else. And maybe in the process, that taking care of everything else is you don't necessarily have time to go, you know what, if you just give me like 20 minutes, I got to call Pops. Like he's been, you know, commenting and I really got to follow up on that. Maybe no one gives them that opportunity or that time. And then 1 week becomes a month, becomes 5 months, becomes a year and a half.
Right.
And then it's like, well, then, I mean, if they're on this kind of a trajectory and you contacted them here, they were already here in like a different layer of atmosphere, so to speak.
Right on.
So it's maybe not that they don't want to contact you back. It may just be because I remember back again, call back. I saw Billy Corgan in that damn record store all the time. I shopped for records every day. We'd go out to lunch like 3 or 4 times a week. And he was constant. Like, I'm talking to this A&R person, talking to this A&R person. And then I had a roommate. We lived like Bell and Cornelia. And I'd come home and, you know, like one of the members would be on the couch. Like,
I lived at Bell and Cornelia.
Did you really?
Yeah. Right on the park, right by the.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have 4351, right where the burrito stand ends, the first house after the alley right there.
Okay. I was at 3500.
All right.
Just south of Addison. But anyways, there came a point where Billy would call the house and he'd leave an answering machine message like, you know, hey, we're playing in Milwaukee, you know, bring like 10 people.
Yeah.
We'd fucking drive up and we'd see them and like be able to talk to them backstage. There was a point where then you never heard from him again.
Ghost. Yeah.
Because he had gotten to a different level. And I wonder if that's what happens to a lot of these people now. And unless you are like, I was never necessarily in that flame, but I was really close to the flame there for about a decade. So I saw a lot of things maybe that, let's say your average Joe that doesn't have that opportunity. Like I saw how it happens with bands, how it happens with like entertainers. They just get to a point where it's like,
I get that, but I'm going to no-sell that because fuck that. I beat Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Who'd they ever be?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Now, there are some
So give me my motherfucking respect until you've been face-to-face with Roddy Piper. I don't want to hear shit.
Right.
No, I totally get what you're saying, man, and it talks me down. That's not something I'm too hot about. We'll come face-to-face and bro it up. That's just how it is. Like, you know, times will always bring that back by. Yeah, man, a couple things. And, you know, I was pumped. I've been reading this. I don't know if you have this, you know, to apply improv. Shecky Callahan's book. Yes. And, Guide to Improv. I just got that in the mail, as a Christmas gift. So I'm pumped about it. But this Christmas gift is a gift that keeps on giving. One of my favorites of all time.
Oh boy. The old headshot.
The old headshot. You were my favorite. Says you were my favorite improviser on there. I got this at the Yankee
Christmas
swap
party.
Yeah, man. And I actually stole it from oh man, he was on Johnny Roast Beef with you too. Shorter, dark hair, stocky guy. I can't think of his name.
Joey Bland.
I can't remember, but he had it, and I Yankee.
Barry Height.
Yes, I swapped it at the end.
Height.
Yeah, I swapped it at the end. He was so hot. He was so hot. It was one of my first favorite heel moves, and that's been on every wall of every studio I've had since then. Nice. Man.
Back when I had hair.
and jacked and ripped, and
less ink.
Nah, yeah, a lot less ink. Let's talk our other side, man, that we kind of share, where you and I kind of came back together after I left for wrestling. I mean, you guys were always interested to some degree. We had the Chicago Improv Network, which is always a good time, kind of the first board to bust balls on before there was Facebook and whatnot. But you know, you really turned a corner in the fitness world and became a influencer and a fitness expert, really, man, and really took it next level. We had a shared group. It's still active, the P90X Posse, and I'm also in the Stevie Richards Fitness group, and I'm at Planet Shit List and just trying to go. But man, you got shredded there for a while. Talk about your fitness journey, bro.
Well, my father always encouraged me to like stay in shape. I was always athletic, always active. I just can't really sit still.
Yeah.
And then I got to a point where early on, I got on that P90X because I saw a buddy of mine was doing it. So all I did was like eat chicken and rice like 6 times a day. I was getting enough sleep. I was drinking a bunch of water, and I was at the right age where I just like completely transformed. And then fast forward, I got a job where I was working 16, 17 hours a freaking day, hour and a half commute. And I wasn't working out. I wasn't doing anything. I was really letting myself go. And I went to get a physical for this job. And the doctor looked at me and he's like, some of these numbers are a little alarming, unless you really get these under control, we may have to have like a different conversation. And the whole time I'm thinking, like, I'm not overweight. I'm not like, I'm still active. Like, this has got to be wrong. This has got to be nuts. Well, I wasn't eating the right way. I was drinking like 2 pots of coffee a day. I wasn't sleeping. And it was like, it just added up. So I was basically skinny fat. So like I didn't look heavy on the outside, but like on the inside, it was just mush.
Right.
So a friend of mine reached out to me with an opportunity about, getting on a program, utilizing some products. I hemmed and hawed for like 7 months. And then I started, and it was like that first month, I didn't even try to lose weight, and I lost 8 pounds. And then like after like the 4th day, I realized I wasn't throwing middle fingers all the time when I was driving. I was finally getting a full night's sleep, and I was more calm at work. So I called her up. I was like, what's in this stuff? Like, how is this even legal? So I kept going with it and kept using the products. And then eventually I just, it's like anything. I'm a Gemini. I have to research, especially stuff that I'm really interested in. So I got really interested in this and learned all about nutrition and learned about fitness and protein timing and telomere health and cellular cleansing, intermittent fasting, and how it goes all the way back to when we were cavemen. The same concept applied then as it does now to the successful way to burn that visceral fat. Got involved with a company, had a decent run with that, worked with a bunch of clients doing that. And now it's just, I'm 53. I'll be 54 in the summer. And it's like, part of me is just vain enough to where I don't ever want to look old. But then another part of me is like, okay, for my entire life, I've always been, got to use my hands, got to move something, got to carry something, got to push something, got to pull something. That's kind of, I guess, just my role. So I have to make sure that I'm ready to be fully possible to do that, even well into my lifespan, so to speak. Right. So it's always been a goal of mine to like, don't worry, I got this. No, I can get it. Like my mom called me today. She's like, I just bought a recliner. They're delivering on Sunday. Like, I got to get the old one out of here. When can you be here? Like, she still thinks I'm 25. But
well,
I know
look like
I can,
it, though.
I know I can go there. Thank you. I know I can go there and handle this, whether I got to take that tubby bastard out of there myself or dismantle it with some tools and carry it out piece by piece.
Right.
So I've just always kind of stayed fitness aware.
That's awesome, man. It inspires me too, because, in the Chicago archetype, that's another thing that they can learn from here. And trust me, Chicago people who are listening, this is all love, because I want nothing but the best and success for you, because it breaks me up to see people get left behind. And I'm not trying to say, Bill, you were left behind, but it's important to me to have you on the show today, because in wrestling, a lot of guys who are support players, mid-card guys, just become like a folklore thing just to the dudes in there. And I think, not just because I'm honored to have you on, but you deserve more a shine, man, of a representation of a lot of people that are in that same category. You know what I mean?
Let's talk about that, because this is really important to me to get this out before we get to a point where we can't really talk about it anymore. I had a million opportunities to shine. I had the fortune of being on a team of superstars for about 6 years with Johnny Roast Beef. And I auditioned for Saturday Night Live 3 times. Once got the call back. I didn't have any writing supplies. Like, nobody ever said like, okay, well, here's the next level. You have to have like 3 impersonations, and you have to have a couple of writing samples for like a sketch that you want to write. It's like, I didn't know that. I just thought it was based on what they saw through improv. Can you perform on a stage in front of people? Do you have comedy timing?
Right.
Sharna, I will never, ever, ever say anything bad about that woman, because I watched her pretty much single-handedly run that place successfully through a combination of people who were devoted to her that did some of the legwork that she couldn't do. But I also think she was much more aware than people gave her credit for. And for some reason, she liked me and gave me opportunities. She's the one that put me on Johnny Roast Beef. I didn't say, I want to be on this team. I didn't go to these guys and say, hey, how about I play on your team? It was her. And we played fucking Fridays and Saturday nights at like 10:30. There were teams in that building that hated us. Number one, because there weren't any women on the team. And it was right around that time where people started to pay attention to that. Wasn't by design. It's just the way it happened. And then also, we had more opportunities than a lot of other teams. So I think we kind of got a little griff from that, which only was more pressure on us to perform. So I had a lot of opportunities with that, performing with that team. I mean, there were a couple of times I'd sit out and be like, oh, this producer's here. Oh, that producer's here. Who's the dude that was head writer for a while that did Weekend Update?
Adam McKay. Oh, say Adam McKay might stop by too.
But Seth was there a bunch of times, saw a bunch of our shows. We're in a room with him as a team. And he's like, you know, this is what I really liked is, you know, keep going, keep going. I'm thinking, all right, you know, man, any chance now, any chance now. And then I was represented by a couple of agents. They put me in opportunities to audition for commercials. It just didn't happen for whatever reason. It just didn't happen. Now, I don't know if I wasn't as relentless as I should have been. For me, again, being the Gemini, I have to look, I turn over every stone. I unfold every piece of paper. I look behind every door, like, what is it? What is it? What is it? And I've really been hung up recently on, I think it's the sound of my voice. I don't necessarily have like a deep voice.
No.
I don't have a character voice.
You can't put it on that.
I don't know what it was.
No.
It just never happened.
You can't put it on any am I this or am I that, because we can be 1,000 things, Bill. We can play 1,000 characters, 1,000 voices, and 1,000 looks with the right makeup if need be. To me, it's we worked so hard for these 1 or 2 opportunities. If it doesn't happen, then you're marginalized even at the top level. And this is where what I'm talking about in a digital realm of where we are now is self-production, that Second City could have you fall right into their laps and you've got a following of 40 to 50,000 because of how great you would be on their day to day. So now when you audition next time and they see this guy's already made, we got to have him on, or I don't need them, and that's when they come knocking. One of the two is always the way it happens, you know. So,
but it happened like that for some people. When I was in classes at Second City, Francis Collier pulled Jordan Peele into our class and say, hey, this is Jordan. He's going to take like maybe 1 or 2 classes. Just, you know, we just want to see where he's at. And then, you know, that was it. He did a couple of scenes. He was in maybe 2 classes. And like right away, the way my brain was working, I'm like, they're grooming this guy for something. Like, he's not going to be a part of this class.
Right.
They have designs for him to go somewhere else, you know? So it's like, for every 100 of me, there's like, you know, or for every 1,000,000 of me, there's 1 Jordan Peele that gets that, you know. And I worked with the guy when I was managing Ed DeBevick's out in Lombard. He got hired as a server. He had this great character where he came dressed as a postman, and his name was Disgruntled Jim, and he had like a bag of like letters, and he was brilliant. And he called me all the time because I was managing, like, hey man, I can't work today. I got an audition. Lamorne Morris, the guy who's on with what's her name, Zoe Deschanel, show. I've never seen the show, but again, it's just like another one of those people, like a Middleditch. I thought, it's just a matter of time before, like, he's got just enough charm, just enough charisma, just enough intelligence where nobody's going to fuck him over. Yeah. Where once he gets that shot, it's going to be a rocket and nobody's going to be able to contain him because he has absolutely everything. So it's like, I don't know if I necessarily had that one shot where I could really launch.
I'll tell you one thing, and it's not the voice and not body type, because it doesn't even really matter in WWE as much anymore, because there's some guys who are in worse shape than me that are on camera. But that's one thing in Chicago, when you get there, all right, what's your archetype? Am I the little Thelma lesbian glasses girl? Am I the Chris Farley fat guy so I can go and eat as many, Portillos as I want? And, I'm the sad sack. Am I the, effeminate guy? Am I the super empowered woman? Am I the ditzy one? Like, there were these archetypes that people would just start to fit into because of Saturday Night Live, where I think a big reason why people miss out on shots is because they look like shit. Like, that's not a like, I wouldn't have put up with that criticism when I was in comedy, but in wrestling, as soon as you get to wrestling, week 2, Rip goes, Popsy, you're a big fat motherfucker. Get over there and fucking do 100 squats. And then you do it, and then you get back in, you chain, and you're puking in the corner. Oh, you're fucking rotten, you big fat bastard. And just that constant slam on you mentally, that's that old school Rocky training, until you go, hey, I'm in this to be on TV. I better not look like a fucking slob. And then you're not wondering why you're not getting shots because you don't look camera ready. You don't look ready to go and whatnot. I think physical fitness in what you've done should be a huge implementation into Chicago comedy and whatnot, because there's just too many guys who are Xbox, sucking down too many Johnny roast beefs, really, that have all the better chops than people who are on TV, but you look like shit. And you got to take that note to heart, man. Could
be. Yeah. And again, this timeline, because then I'm thinking, you bring up physical fitness in wrestling, and I'm thinking, well, physical fitness didn't really seem important to Baron von Raschke. Physical fitness didn't really seem too big for like Dick the Bruiser. And then look at Cactus Jack, my favorite wrestler of all time. The dude was a mess, but he was brilliant. He was willing to do anything. And you could tell creatively, he was head and shoulders above everybody else.
But you're talking about, you just named 3 big heels. And heels don't have to have a body, whether it's King Kong Bundy to whoever, right? Because a babyface, people want to live vicariously through. They want to, either women want to be with him or the men want to be him, right? And and little kids will look up to him as a superhero. So you can have the fat slob because nobody would want to be that, right? Like, that's what.
I always like the heels.
Obviously, because they rely on character more than anything. Yes. But they started. NXT and FCW and even OVW to some degree is a copy of Improv Olympic, which is a factory school system that makes you have your master's degree in improv or wrestling, as the case may be. And then are you going to stay there and work for free and be a mark, or are you going to fucking go out and apply your craft to the world and get something that you spent a lot of time in? And I think everything that we're hearing here that my listeners should take away from this is it's 10,000 hour rule. This is what you and I share, whether it's DJing and you got to know everything there is to know. And hey, I'll say yes now to the opportunity and I'm going to fucking do everything I got. You know what I mean? In that commercial, hey, can you ride a motorcycle? Sure, I can. Well, when are you going to be there? In a month? All right, I better learn how to ride a motorcycle in a month.
Right.
You know? And in wrestling, it's the exact same thing, of when the opportunity's there for Santino Marella, who was Italian, even though he was playing a Russian in OVW, saying, hey, we're going to Italy. Can you speak Italian? Yeah, I can. He's learning it on the plane on the way over, and he wins the Intercontinental title night 1. So, nice. That's the opportunity, meeting the preparation, man. And I think you are a great example of, I'm going to go and chase this, and I'm going to get to saying, hey, not only can I hang with the best, I can get the best over, and I have their respect. And, whether it's in music, in that scene from the 80s, to comedy, to fitness, man, I'm inspired and honored to be able to have come up with you and watched you and learned from your methods, dude.
Same here. And talking about niche and archetype, I always tried to think, like, how do I fit? I was on a team with Bullet Lounge. I was nowhere near the smartest guy on the stage. I was nowhere near the most talented guys on the stage. And it took me a while, and I thought about it. I thought, you know what? I think I'm okay being the Jack Tripper.
I would say,
of Johnny of Bullet Lounge. Could pretty much play any character, male, female. Wasn't afraid of being physical in the comedy. Wasn't afraid of being serious. So like, I kind of felt like how malleable can I be? Because I know I'm not the smartest on this stage. So how can I support these brains by being somebody that they could shape?
Yeah. How can you heighten their intelligence and show the crowd that, and all of your experience through performance up to that point absolutely was the right time for them to shine those guys. So maybe I need to get you in the ring with me so I can get signed as well.
I know. I always say that, like, I'm the most non-famous person on any team I've ever been on.
Man, it's good stuff, man. What else do we want to talk? You want to ask me anything about what's going on wrestling wise that we didn't get to talk about? I hate to talk wrestling on a HAHAHAMIN, but I know you've been a big of Conspiracy Horseman. You've been on there as a guest and a calling guest.
I love the show. I love the concept. I love the camaraderie that you guys have with the group. But I also love, like, that's one side of the spectrum. 180 degrees on the other side is, you guys have had Fetzer on your show. You guys have had some heavy hitting journalists, people who are actually putting their feet to the ground and researching a lot of these topics on your show. So, and then they get it kind of bleeds together. You have this person that's doing this professionally. A lot of these people, their lives are on the line. And then they're kind of bleeding into your camaraderie of, 4 guys who are going to talk about anything and push the envelope no matter what. And, you give free reign to your guests on your show. Like, say whatever you want. There's no filters here. You want to swear, do it. It's this. So I like that aspect of it. And you and I do share a lot of that. What did we call ourselves? Truth seekers and historical deconstructionists.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I think that's what I really try and strive for too, because these guys get quantified into such sound bites or of whatever they are in whatever show. Everybody just wants to be one of the boys. Everybody just wants to kick it, man. And who are you going to send? You're going to send some Hillary Clinton hitters to come get me? You better send some fucking good ones. You better send your biggest, bro, because the dogs of war are going off and the 20 gauge is loaded. Come get it.
I'm sure she's got very skilled elite tactical squads.
Yeah, well,
that shit just frightens the hell out of me. What, Spacey made that video?
Yeah, he made.
Who said kill him with kindness, and the 4th person dies.
Yep, the new Spacey hit. We'll cover that this week.
Come on,
blowing us up, man. So it's interesting whether it's Fetzer. We just had Ed Opperman, who was big, the Epstein gimmick, and John McAfee and Vinny Paz. It's been an unbelievable year for us, and hopefully coming up, David Icke as well.
Oh, wow.
So big things happening of just like-minded people who've had enough, and fortunately, because we've been in wrestling for so long, and with whatever credibility we've garnered there, no one's gonna be able to outwork us or outthink us, and we're not taking a hard line. Some things we do which are absolutely wrong, but we look at it like workers, and that's just been an awesome lens to do a conspiracy show through.
Yeah, and it's a good way to kind of introduce your guests into a different realm, but then also introduce that different realm to new guests. So maybe these guys get more followers. And the bottom line is you're trying to wake up as many people as humanly possible.
Absolutely.
To at least just ask questions. Just ask questions. Does this make sense to you? Across the board, does this make sense? Is there any possible way there could be something nefarious about what's going on? And if so, who do you think's behind it? How do you get things done in this world? Well, you need money. Where's that money coming from? What's the ultimate goal? It's just like all these questions. And I think going way back to what we talked about before, can't coordinate a sock drawer, eating fucking Cheetos, sitting on your couch. Are those kind of people really the ones that are thinking, or are they just turning that TV on and going, yep, this is exactly the way it is. I can't believe it. and then everybody is so emotionally charged now.
Yeah. Is it the way it is?
Charged.
Am I that disconnected because just watching TV, my parents' conventional TV yesterday, and seeing like what everybody's being fed constantly, and I'm so disconnected from like ingesting that on a regular basis, you know?
Yeah.
Like, is my mind diverged from the path completely, or is there just a path and nobody's on it and everybody knows, but they're not anymore? You know what I mean? I'm just trying to pull them in. I don't know. All we can keep doing is talking and pointing fingers at the things that don't line up, because once you can get one lie in somebody's head that is like, all right, I know that's bullshit. Well, that starts to unravel that sweater you're pulling on the string. Some people will go all the way. Other people will tap out and go, I don't want this in my life. I'd rather live in the Matrix,
right.
You know, but hey.
And those are the people that are working 40 hours a week with one job. They're picking up maybe an extra 10 to 20 hours on a side gig because it's so expensive to live now. They just want to go home and they want to turn their TV on. Well, who fucking controls that? 6 companies?
Yeah.
You think they don't have hey, what are you guys reporting? We're reporting this. Okay, cool. You're reporting this. The 4 a.m. talking points come across and it's do. People don't have time to think about anything else.
You wait until the next big thing, because impeachment or not, this guy's I don't think he wants to run again. Even the power may be that addicting, but the money is more addicting to him, and he knows that he can come in and put a beating on Fox, MSNBC, and CNN, and that's all that's on his mind right now. Controversy creates cash. And not to say, you know, Trump supporter or whatever. The only reason I voted for him because I know what's up with the Clintons and I wanted a bullet in the gun. It's not that I'm, you know, that's the only shot I had to fire. You got to fucking go. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And even if you believe that they're not on the same side, right? So we can easily shoot that shit off. But the way I'm positioning Hamin Media as an unscathed free medium of truth telling that isn't beholden to anybody but ZordosOliveOil.com. You know, that when it comes time to say, hey, who's not compromised and who's a voice and who's going to say some shit to somebody who won't step to them in the street, or who's going to go stand outside John Podesta's fucking house with a bullhorn, you're looking at a fucking guy who would be happy to do it for the right paycheck, even if it's coming from him, you know? So,
we'll see what happens when Durham finally wraps up that investigation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just their little aha, because they've gotten their tits slapped so many times on their false accusations, but boy who cried wolf, they waited too long, and they could learn so much from wrestling and how to do the heat. That's why he outfoxes them half the time, because Vince is his boy. He knows this shit, man. So like, there's no higher level politics than pro wrestling, and I think that's why the Conspiracy Horseman is more special than anything else going on in that realm.
I agree.
Right now.
I agree.
Well, I agree that you're one of my favorite people on this planet, man. And
same here, buddy.
And I thank you so much for giving me time. There's nobody flakier to get lined up for interviews than wrestlers or comedians in trying to get everybody's time. But the Save Digger's one of a kind, man. He'll do me a solid when I need new content, and he's an avid listener. You guys might catch him in the chat rooms or wherever on Hamin Media Group. I usually always tag him. And I just wanted to say thank you, man, for being such a great human being, dude.
Thank you, Pops, and thanks. This was great. Thanks for the opportunity, and I wish you nothing but success, and we'll keep in touch, I promise you.
Oh, 24/7 here at hackerhamin.podbean.com, the only place exclusively for Hamin infidels. YOLO.